Hey everyone, welcome back to another RouterGods video. I'm Humphrey, the ex-Cisco SE. We're going to talk about the second most popular topic for sales engineers, and that is travel. First one being pay, of course. How much travel can you expect to do? Is there a way to do no travel? What's the mandatory amount of travel, the minimum amount of travel? And I'll also give you some tips and strategies on how to get hired mandatory travel. Now this is going to be specific to Cisco sales engineers, SEs, TSAs, etc. But you can extrapolate this for other vendors. So in a given year, you've got several instances of training, conferences, sales get-togethers. Every year you're going to have about 1 week sales get-together. Now for Cisco folks, that is called GSX. Now it's called Impact. This is in Las Vegas. And it starts you get your badge on a Sunday. Usually the classes and the seminars and the conferences all start on Monday, and then they go to Wednesday and Thursday. If you're in sales, if you're an SE, you pretty much have to go to this. You may think, well, it's Vegas. Well, they're paying for everything. They're paying for your hotel, they're paying for your flight, they're paying for your food. There is an expectation that you're going to be hanging around with your teammates, and your teammates are all going to have a team dinner. So you will spend very, very little. Unless you gamble, that's up to you. And other things as well. Tens of thousands of people are flown in. I don't know what the actual number is. Somewhere between 15 and 20,000 salespeople fly into Vegas. We take over the whole city and we have a lot of fun. So that's 1 week. Cisco Live. So Cisco Live is Cisco's user conference. So this is where we meet customers and meet partners and stuff like that. It's open, you just buy a ticket. If you're working at a booth, then obviously you're going to devote about 1 week to that, because you've got to fly in a little bit early, set up the booth and computers. Every year I always tried to work Cisco Live because, once again, it's a free trip. They're paying for your hotel, they're paying for the flights, they're paying for your food, you get to expense the food, so it's pretty great. And then if you present, there'll be Cisco Lives around the world. There's Europe, which I believe is Barcelona, I think it is. And then in Asia, it's in Melbourne, Australia. So if you are a presenter, you can count on 3 to 4 extra weeks of travel for that, because since it's international, you probably want to get there a couple days early for jet lag. If you're coming from the US and you're flying to Europe, you might as well stay a couple extra days, because how often do you get to see Europe? And then you have kind of your local events. Those are called Cisco Connect. It's kind of like a Cisco Live mini version. And those are usually, you have to attend those. Now, whether you have to fly and stay in a hotel, that depends on where it is, but generally you can count on an extra week mandatory training. So Cisco had a lot of weeks where we did have virtual training where you quote unquote must attend, or you could watch the recording. But we also had, I forgot the name of it, a couple times a year we would all fly into San Jose, or if it's regional, you might have to fly into Bangkok, Australia, or someplace a little bit closer than San Jose, and you would get about a 1 week training on a specific subject, like Cisco Meraki. So if you are the attendee, then you can count on an extra 2 to 3 weeks. And because the reason for that is you're an SE, you're expected to be technical, you've got to brush up on new things, and this is going to add on top of that. Yeah, you're pushing 1.5 months to 2 months out of the year just on the mandatory training. Now, if you're a presenter at these things, it's going to be even crazier, because you might be expected to travel worldwide to give these trainings. And I'll give you a good example is at Cisco Meraki, I was one of those CM&A instructors, master classes, all the high-end Meraki classes I helped teach, and I always volunteered to teach. Because it's fun, right? Why not? And I think I added another month and a half of traveling on top of that per year. Every quarter, most teams have a quarterly QBR kickoff, sales kickoff, team building, offsite. Yeah, we'll just call it an offsite. And so the good teams that have a lot of budget, they'll do an offsite every quarter, and they'll pick an interesting place. I got offsites in Phuket. So when I came to Singapore, man, in the first month, I went to Phuket all expenses paid at a nice resort for about a week. If you didn't know my background, I spent nearly 7 years at Cisco as an SE. I started as an SE in Southern California in Select. So these are large customers. I had a pool of about 12 to 15 customers. And these, I forget what the breakdown was for Select customers, but it's fairly large, couple thousand employees, well-known brands, things like Newegg and CPK and True Religion Jeans. I was in Southern California and I drove to those customers and I drove to the customer headquarters to do my demos, to do my meetings, presentations. I was paired up with an account manager, and most of the travel for that job was local. Once in a while I did have to do something like a San Diego or Antelope Valley. For those, I would stay 1 or 2 nights because you don't want to make that drive in Southern California if you have an 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock meeting. Certain situations for Select, you do have a little bit of travel, but other than the mandatory stuff that I talked about, there shouldn't be too much travel within your region because the whole point of Select is it's pretty close. You can drive there. It may take you 2 hours or so, but it's not something where you should be spending pretty much every night back at your own bed, back at your apartment, back at your home. Okay, just to summarize for Select, if you include your mandatory training plus some of the travel that you will have in the Select region, you could probably count on 1.5 to 2 months of travel out of the year. So somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's say, 20% travel, it would be a reasonable amount. After my first year as a Select SE, I became a TSA, a Technical Solutions Architect in Enterprise for Cisco Meraki. Enterprise is multi-billion-dollar companies, mega corporations, mega multinationals. I will not say the names because you will immediately recognize those companies. But I was assigned a territory of Southwest US, so that included California, Southern California, Nevada, Arizona, and also Utah. I got Utah. You can imagine what's in Utah, but I won't say it. Great customers, actually, by the way, really awesome customers. How much travel did I do for Enterprise at Meraki? A lot. I think I was on a plane every week. I was living it up in hotels. I'm Titanium Elite in Marriott. I was easily doing 75 to 100 nights a year. I've got a regional Southwest US territory. I've got mega deals in the millions and millions of dollar ranges, and if I'm not presenting in person, the customer gets mad. These customers want an SE, an account manager in front of them. And then there was a 4-month stint where the SE in the northwest part of the US, which included Seattle, Portland, and that region also included Colorado. Don't know why. I don't know how you get Northwest US and then Colorado, but sales territories, quantum mechanics, they're probably very related. That SE quit. He's gone. He's went bye-bye. So for 4 months, while they're trying to hire an SE, I'm doing both. For 4 months, I was 100% travel. I was in a hotel, even on the weekends. I actually went home once at the 2-month mark because here's the thing. I just kept buying clothes. I just kept buying clothes at Uniqlo and have them delivered to Amazon. That was one of my tricks, is I would have them delivered to the hotel or Amazon locker that was close by. And I was basically stockpiling new clothes. And then I had this luggage full of clothes and I was like, okay, I need to change it out. I flew back to Burbank, which was my apartment, dropped off my bag, grabbed the go bag, which had a fresh set of clothes. Another trick for you guys, 2 bags, a primary bag and a go bag just for this exact instance. I lived on a 2nd floor apartment and my neighbor on the 1st floor, he has this terrace balcony thing that sticks out. And he's just kind of hanging out, drinking a beer, as he would usually do. And I come in, hey, how's it going? And I go up 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, grab my bag, switch it out, and roll out. And he was like, as I was rolling out, he's looking at me, he's like, did you just come here to switch out a bag? I was like, yep. It's like, and he asked, are you a spy? And I think to this day, he still thinks I'm a spy, but yeah, I'm not a spy. Now coming to Singapore, so in 2019, December 2019, I came to Singapore, and March, February 2020, COVID hit, so that killed, like, for 3 years, it killed my travel. But I did get a couple trips into Malaysia because it's quick. It's a 1-hour flight. That was pretty cool. We got the Phuket, we got Bangkok, we got Sydney, and I was set to go to Bali to present at a conference, but that was February, and COVID canceled it. So COVID hit around February, March 2020, and that whole saga lasted 2.5 years. During that time, all travel for us was you couldn't really do it unless it was a super emergency, and you had to get vice president, senior vice president, some high up approval. In my case, I did get a SVP approval a couple times for travel because, hey, if I don't get there, we lose the deal. 99% of travel was gone. We used WebEx. Some customers like Zoom. That's completely fine. I personally never had a problem if a customer wanted to use Zoom. It's I know people get bent out of shape, like, oh yeah, you know, why'd you let it, force them to use WebEx? Like, you're just gonna piss them off. If a customer likes Zoom, let them use Zoom for a meeting. And then it slowly started ramping up about 1 year ago, back on the travel. But there are certain restrictions. I think many companies have kept in place some of the restrictions just because they realized that, hey, we saved a lot of money during COVID and everything kind of worked. So why not? Why do we need to have all of these in-person meetings? Is there a position where you don't have any travel? No, because you've got the mandatory travel about 1 month, even if you're what's called an inside SE. The inside SEs are usually at headquarters, they're working at home, and they're calling people up, they're doing demos, they're assigned to a pool, and they're not field SEs, they're not driving out, they're not flying out to meet customers. But there is still some amount of travel because you still have team get-togethers, you still have the mandatory travel, you still have Cisco Live, you still have Cisco Connect. Yes, you can get an SE job with fairly minimal travel, about a month, a year, right? About a month, maybe a little less depending on your company. And you can go all the way up to 75, 80%, 90% travel with bursts up to 100% travel if that is your wish. If you wanna hop around countries, if you wanna hop around the US, there are many jobs available to you. Okay, let's talk about strategies to get hired if you like to travel. I'll give you my strategy is I would always tell the hiring manager, so whenever I'm interviewing for an SE job, I always tell the hiring manager that I am willing to travel. I'm single, I got no kids, I got no pets, I've got no one to answer to, so I will fly out wherever. In fact, the one phrase I like to use is, if you want me to be at a customer tomorrow, I will be there tomorrow. Like, there's no questions asked. I will be there tomorrow. Even if it's in another country, I'll get there. I'll figure it out. I've got an APEC card in Asia, which gets me through the diplomatic lanes. I've got a decent passport that gets me wherever. I'm used to traveling. Hell, I sneak into war zones for fun, right? 2010, I went into Libya. Last year, twice, I went into Ukraine. So I'm very used to going into places. So I tell them that. It's like, I'm ready to travel. I answer to no one. If you need someone there for a POC that's going to live at a customer, I'm there. I've done it before where I've stayed at a customer straight for about 2 weeks. I would rather live in a hotel than be in my apartment. I'm in a hotel right now. I think that was one of the primary reasons. I don't know if it was a primary reason, but I think that was a big reason why I got hired into Cisco Meraki as enterprise, because that's to go from select after just 1 year into enterprise is that don't happen. That doesn't happen very much. So I think the magic words where I told them, they were asking like, well, how do you feel about travel? I was like, I'm there. Like, send me wherever. I don't care. So their ears kind of perk up when, a single guy wants to be in a hotel. A sales engineer job is a great job. If you have the opportunity to go for it, go for it. And if you need any help, RouterGods. In RouterGods, we are a free meetup group. We've helped dozens and dozens of people get into Cisco and get into other places as well. Palo Alto, Fortinet, all over the place. It's not just about Cisco, but we've helped many IT folks get into SE jobs for free. We don't sell you anything. There's no membership dues. This channel's monetized. This YouTube channel's monetized. I make no money out of it. I'm just doing it for fun. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the section below. As always, like and subscribe. Take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.